50%. 50% of all trips in the US are less than 3 miles. Now, that's a quick bike ride or even a brisk walk. But in America, this trip always requires a car. But is this our only option? Imagine a future where, instead of a child being locked away in a car on their way to soccer practice, what if they could ride their bike? Instead of that same child being driven just to get to lunch, what if they could get physical activity in by walking there themselves? Instead of waiting until they're 17 to get a sense of independence, what if they could do it at 13? In America, the only way to get around is the car. But there are nearly 100 million people who can't drive. But how are they supposed to get around? How are they supposed to participate in society? They can't. And I, too, am one of those people. I'm 16, and I still need someone to drive me around everywhere. I can never get to school, go to the store, or even hang out with friends without being driven by someone else in a car. But I keep coming back to this question. Is this our only option? Is it possible to live our lives without needing a car for every little thing? Let's think back to that number, the 50% of trips that are under 3 miles. Have you ever realized how short our trips are? In fact, 28% are under just 1 mile. Now, that's a 6-minute bike ride, maybe 3 minutes longer than that trip in a car. But when we convert all these 1-mile trips into bikes, yes, we do reduce car congestion, but we also create a more sociable, thriving community. We create a place where people can live healthier, happier lives, a place where you see friends and get exercise in by going to the store, and a place where families and even young children can feel safe being outside of a car. And all these benefits come with no large increase in travel time. Now, I'm not saying that we all need to bike or 20-mile commutes to work, although then everyone's legs would look amazing. But we need to consider the costs, not just economically, but also on our health, happiness, and community. We need to create a future where driving isn't the only way to get around. This may seem like a big change, but it's been done before. 40 years ago, the Netherlands looked like this. It was a car-dependent country that required everyone to be in a car to get anywhere, just like America today. But today, it looks like this. It's an incredible country where people rule the streets, not cars. People walk, cycle, and take transit to get everywhere. And this type of living isn't limited to cities either. Even suburbs have excellent connections to transit with walkable and bikeable neighborhoods. Amsterdam wasn't built in a day, but through years of investment, the Dutch have built safer streets with better access to transit. They built a country where driving isn't the only way to get around. This talk isn't about why cars are bad. It's about how we force them into every part of our lives. It's about the choice to get around the way I want to. Even the Netherlands has a 50% car ownership rate. But there are alternatives to driving. Alternatives for people like me who aren't old enough, or people who just can't afford to, and people who just don't want to. People can walk, cycle, and take transit to get to those places that they need to go. The US needs to focus on installing bike lanes and sidewalks, making our streets safer. We need to make it possible to take these alternatives to driving. We need to create a world that's built for people, not cars. Thank you.